the appearance or the anatomy of the muscles themselves.
What's the advantage to grass-fed from a culinary standpoint?
If it is authentically grass-fed, it just tastes different. It tastes grassier.
Does the fattiness extend to less chaylev?
Yes, less chaylev, less shulek.
If it's grass-fed?
No. That's just goat.
Right.
Just go.
Okay.
You taste like what you eat.
So we moved the plaster out of the way, one way or the other. Seamed it. I cleaned it up at the top, so I didn't leave anything to do afterwards. Okay, we chased down the back of the femur, only until we got to the seam. We busted it wide open. This is all mostly blunt dissection. That's the ghee. At this point, I can basically knife most of it out. It's not a hard thing to do. The Bukharian pretty much stop here.
Bukharians what?
The place at College Point was a joke.
I remember you mentioned something.
But
that's
they
what
don't.
happens when you have a quarter of a masoret.
Wait, they shecht goats there and lamb?
I don't think the place is still functionally kosher. I don't think it was kosher for a long time
No,
before
but,
that. But
the rabbi there, I thought he just does birds.
Oh, this was the one with the geese. They said they were kosher because they had a kippah. It was something with like the geese with a bill, with like a bump on the bill, so they wouldn't really like ask them like, how do you know they're kosher? He goes, because they have a kippah on their head.
Or the sexual.
Okay, I'm doing it this way because I want you guys to see and appreciate what you need to look for in each muscle. So instead of going on to opening and butterflying everything else open.
What's the name of this muscle again?
Top round.
Top round.
Because the traditional method of breaking this down, this is pretty much across cultures.
Yeah.
This is on the top. When you have this thing on the table,
What
that's the eye of the round, and the bottom round is the part of the round, which is the thigh that's on the bottom of the table, on the bottom facing
The
the
eye
table.
of the round is inside of the top round?
Rabbi,
The eye of the round is in between top
what do you think about
semitendinosus.
us making a PowerPoint slide full of the different steps for this?
It could be done.
Yeah.
I'd rather you get a little bit more experience in it before attempting to do that.
Okay.
That's a phenomenal way to waste hundreds of hours. You really need to understand what you're doing before you put it together, because
it will take a very long time. Yes.
it's also, I don't want you to commit yourself to doing it in a very specific or particular way.
Yeah.
I know some of us tend towards halachic OCD, but that's not the point. There's more than one way to do this. I don't care how you do it. I care that you get it done and that you're relatively efficient about it. So what I don't like about those study aids is that people learn only from that, and they become inflexible, and you fail to understand. I don't mind if you do this in a different order. I don't mind if you start somewhere and then go back and realize you forgot something. That's fine. I want you to have the whole picture in front of you and say, well, I know what needs to come off the top round. I know what a clean top round is supposed to look like. Okay? And this is it. A little bit more by way of kunot to remove. Once I'm down to the surface of the meat, you'll see that I will cease and desist.
Kinokot are bits that come off the gate?
Kinokot are surface-hugging branches of the gate. We don't go into the muscle to get it out. Why don't we go into the muscle to get them out?
Because it's inside the muscles.
Because it's inside the muscle. That is brilliant. That is brilliant. Can anybody explain the rationale behind that?
No.
Because it's inside, I don't know.
Because it's inside the muscle, so what?
So nothing gets in there.
What?
Well, one, there would be no end to.
End of the barsov. There really is no end to it, because this is what innervates every muscle in the entire leg. Second of all, what's the din when it comes to anything that's asur mishum chelev?
It's batul barov.
No,
What
it's
the
on the
hell?
surface.
Chelev is batul.
No, but when I was learning with the
You're not going to get anywhere telling somebody that you didn't do something you should have done, but it's okay because it was batul barov. That's literally trying to tell you surah. You're basically trying to tell me that I should know.
Ben Chaim said it's possible to batul chelev.
It is possible. Min b'mino, it's possible that it would be batel 1 to 2.
Okay.
But let's not go there. Let's actually try to get it right. So it's not because it could be mivutal with regular fat that you could say, well, I just don't feel like removing it.
No, of course
What
not.
are the limits, the definitions of chelev? Totav kirum v'niklaf. Totav means it sits on something
Yes.
or above something, which means kol shesh lo, according to the Rambam, kol shesh lo chipui basar en bo mishum chelev. Anything that's covered by chipui basar, anything that has meat covering it, is by definition not chelev because it isn't exposed. It's not totav. It doesn't sit on something. It's not exposed to the cavity. So if you have to go cutting into muscle meat in order to get it out, you don't have to go in. You don't have to get it out.
That's chayla.
Yeah, but yeah, I was gonna
So
say.
if that's the case for chelev, which is a surah d'oraita bekaret, which is about as bad as it gets, why should kinokinot hagid or shuman hagid, which are barely min hagim, why should they be any more chamur? And if that's what you want to claim, can you find a source that would even indicate that?
Well,
Sure as heck not from the Gemara, from any of the Rishonim.
Does anybody
but
today go in and try to go make a
is
piece
there-
of
is
the
there-
That
job?
Masorah died.
is there any din of
Gave up.
is there any di- is
What
there any
about Mahmoud?
is there any idea of surface when it comes to gid though?
Is Timony.
I mean, is
Is there any idea of?
of surface being a defining point by gid? Like, aren't isn't
do you
it? In other words, with the gid anasha, we don't care where it is; we have to remove it. So if the
The
kanokanot
gid itself.
are coming from the gid, so
kanokanot.
why should surface have to do anything with that?
Because we don't chase into muscles to get the gid out either. We go
Okay.
in between muscles. There's a difference.
Okay.
What we consider to be shuman hagid. Otherwise, how do you get the shuman hagid out? You have to open things up. You have to open muscles to get at the gid bichlal. So it's not to say that we don't cut anything. It's just that you don't have to cut into muscles. You can cut in between them. Nobody requires you to cut meat open in order to get it out. That's the bottom line. That's what you need to remember, and that's the shita. This is consistent. All the Sephardim, Teimanim, etc. Everybody had this understanding.
We're not
It
chasing-
didn't even come up. The Shulchan Aruch didn't even mention it because even the Ramah doesn't talk about it. This idea of being frum and chasing a silver skin and chasing other things came much, much later.
Probably more complicated things.
Some people not knowing, people
No,
not
but
fatiguing,
the
people
problem
fighting
is
each
that
other.
when you do all this, eventually there comes a point where people say, "Screw it, I don't want to do it," and that's what happened.
It's just a matter of time. But if what you're doing is so, look, at the end of the day, the market's going to determine these things. If it's so cost ineffective, cost prohibitive, people aren't going to pay you to do it. It's going to get lost because
It
you've
is.
lost the ability to
Is there-
continue this practice in any commercial application. So if it can't be done commercially profitably, it can't be done at all.
When you buy the hindquarters from Baltimore, do you pay like whatever the non-kosher places would pay for
I
it?
pay a little bit of a premium,
Okay.
Do you
probably 10-15 cents.
do you only buy the Beit Yosef
Yes.
cuts? But it's according to them Beit Yosef. Is that are they still having a few sirchos that they remove?
Kisidran.
Sidron is fine. That's still
Dofin
Beit
Sar.
Yosef. What about
Kisidran,
Bat Yoma.
and Sar we're fine with.
okay?
Bat Yoma,
No, but what are their standards for Beit Yosef, right? Because I've heard that everybody has a different standard.
what are the standards? Simanim and Seifim. There's no
but-
uniform standard for anything. The question is which Simanim, which Seifim, what do they hold the Chatchila, what do they hold B'diavad, etc.
Exactly.
But no, they're pretty good about it.
Okay.
Kisidran, the Dofin Sar, and I probably, whether or not they admit it, I'm going to assume that anything that gets detached before they actually get to the Chutz, before they remove the lumps, like they stick their hands in a check, they probably consider some Chabbat Yomah, there's a few fekot there, I imagine. And even that is about as good as you're going to get here in the U.S. because I don't think anybody really holds Bebet Yosef on everything. Much as I wish it were the case, it's just not this far to market enough of a driving force to do anything here. Ones who live in Israel aren't buying fancy or expensive meat. What drives the market in the U.S. is choice.
I mean, it would be very expensive if the only kosher meat in the U.S. were holding all by
I mean, I imagine that would be the opposite.
Well, actually, probably not. I don't think
If the spider are significant enough.
I mean, if
number
all the
to
meat
be
in the
worth
United
anybody
States was
buying.
kosher, it would be far more efficient.
your ground beef isn't much more expensive than what you're paying for in the store, and that's all Beit Yosef. So I guess
It's just the way we're set up over here. If I'm grinding meat, it's not that I'm buying meat, ground meat at a certain price, and then I have to mark it up by a certain thing. It's that I'm trimming it from steaks and roasts, and basically economizing on whatever else I know how to do in-house. If I were trying to buy boxed ground beef and then figure out a way to make money doing it, Beit Yosef probably not. Would not work.
your ground beef is very good.
You can get it from Europe.
Aging makes a big difference. Yeah,
What makes a difference?
the aging makes a very big
Oh, you
difference.
age it. That's
Yes.
why.
Yes, that is why.
Because it's coming off of steaks that have been aged. That's right.
Yep.
Very interesting.
It's a vein?
No, it's Shumanagid.
Oh.
It runs right down here on the knuckle in between the tibia and the femur. Mike, this meat is totally warm. That was a really fast defrost job. You know what it was? It was the fact that it wasn't inside a tub. It was sitting on a rack in the air from the bottom to the top.
It's over there.
Very big difference. Good to know. also probably why nothing moves in the bison, because it's always in tubs. We always put stuff in tubs over there.
What's that part called that you're
Is
working
that
with right now?
what you're essentially doing?
In butcher terms, it's the heel.
The heel. Alright.
It's the shin, the calf muscle.
As long as we have a name for it, I don't.
Yeah, gastrocnemius is the Latin term for it.
Something I can try to learn. That the piece that your left hand is sitting on right now, that's the top round.
What piece?
This.
That's the top round.
Okay, so I'm sort of learning it.
Top round is the piece that we go after as soon as we get the plaster open. It's the first thing that we do.
That's right. I remember that.
The leg of lemon I repackaged smelled perfectly fine.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Perfect.
No reason it should.
Is the goat much stronger in flavor than lamb?
Not really.
My mom couldn't
That's
tell
actually
the
more from the
difference.
aging than anything else. That's a nice aged smell.
That is a very nice aged smell.
Yeah, a little bit of nutty.
Yeah.
Smells good.
A little bit.
We don't go very far with it.
It's not like beef where you can age it for months. Lamb you can
Right.
age it for. Alright, makes sense.
Not as
beef. Yeah, the goat breast I did.
So I'm curious about something. If you go to the supermarket and you buy a
Not
steak,
beef, but
right?
not goat.
How many times has that been frozen?
Chicken.
A million times?
Don't know that you have any way of knowing.
Did you finish up over here?
Because
No.
they put it out and it's not
But
frozen.
we were handing it out to sniff everybody to sniff around. So
Do they-
take
do
what's
they-
closer to me first.
Do they put it out not frozen specifically so you'll buy it so you'll think it's fresh? Is that it?
I don't know. There is no requirement under the USDA to declare that something was frozen or that it wasn't. But yeah, generally speaking, frozen is considered anything that's 28 degrees or less. Meat doesn't freeze at 32.
Yeah. If I were selling any meat, I would definitely want to freeze it. So
If for nothing else but liability purposes.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, Mike, can you do me a favor? Can you pull whatever Mitch Presser wanted?
What do you want?
Check the email. Literally in the email.
He didn't specify anything.
What do you say?
But, yeah. That's,
You were on it. Forward it to you.
yeah, no. Yeah, and I tried logging into whatchamacallit?
QuickBooks?
No, authorized on that.
No?
I don't think I remember the password.
Sounds about right.
Thought I did.
It's tough remembering all these things.
No, it's just you know what surfaces need to be cleaned. The same surface I cleaned over here is the same surface I'm cleaning here.
But I was talking about the password.
4x of goat.
You're doing a really good job cutting that.
Okay, 4x of goat. Should we just leave it in the freezer? The porterhouse and
The tri-tip? If we ship it tomorrow, but he's already said that he's leaving on Thursday afternoon at some time.
It's too bad you can't
What
just
time does
grind all
UPS
that
get
up.
there? Can you check from the past orders that he's made what time UPS is in his neighborhood?
Yeah, of course. Or
The shipping notifications?
Or we can Uber it.
Uber it costs money then. Unless I know Ben's coming in. If Ben's coming in and he can take it to him, that'd be great. But then he's got to come in early enough that he can leave early enough.
Why don't we ship it to Atlantic Beach?
Also doable. You want to ask him? Ask him.
Yeah, I don't talk to people who
Very
make more
wealthy
money.
customers.
Yeah.
This guy's law firm bills like $15,000 an hour.
I believe it.
I don't have the money to talk to him for a minute.
And he's buying meat from you? He's smart.
He's a good customer.
It's very good.
Very good customer. No, I guess good
If he wants high quality product, there's no other place in America to buy it. So
His old butcher named a cut after him.
really,
It's just this
Was
way
it a
that he
special
wanted
cut?
it. And people were asking for it the same way that this guy Mitch gets it. The butcher was like, "We'll just call him the Mitch." Presser steak or something.
Was it an unusual cut?
No, just trimmed to a certain specification.
Interesting.
So here, this is the rump fillet. This is the actual rump. Remember, we clean out the seam over here where the hair parts, so to speak. Shaitel, the rump fillet, I'm just gonna knife it clean off the, this is the exterior side of the quadriceps, not that retarded over.
This part I don't remember.
You can only be as cautious as the weakest link.
I think that's the obvious part. You want to free up the ball
But
and head of the
if
femur.
you can't free it up, you can't.
Ah, okay. I see.
Goodness, with the Ständer in here.
Reminds me of when I was stringing tennis rackets. They had a fancy machine at the U.S. Open. It was ergonomic. It tilted, so it'd be easier for your back.
So you don't get tennis open.
Want the special
Yikes!
stuff.
I'm not going to
Yeah,
say
so much.
anything.
Can I get you another pair of gloves at least?
Did you cut yourself?
No, but that was about as close as I'm
Thank
gonna
you,
come.
Shem.
Wow,
Here.
that was a close one.
You want another pair?
The only reason you didn't cut yourself is because I was in here to witness it. I'm laughing at you.
Well, you're Shliach Mitzvah. You can't really get hurt.
Wait, what?
She's Shliach Mitzvah.
Well,
You get protections from the God.
I mean,
Can we see how far that goes?
I think all the gods protect me.
oh my God.
Do you want this stuff in the bison or out on the raft?
That was one. And two. That's the tricky one.
It's smaller.
How about
Wait,
bison
so-
or raft?
For a presser?
Yeah.
Are these the
I mean,
goats?
bison if it's gonna ship.
Are
for
these
sure.
the goats from that day at ENA?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
What
this
are you
one's
pulling
the-
off? These are the
The
branches?
two branches of the gid.
And the racks I pulled out have the breast attached to them, except for
Oh
one.
man.
So they need to be split.
Yeah.
Yeah, but tomorrow we get the bent saw back, so.
Either way, we would have to cut it.
That's tendon in the center.
Yeah, don't bother with it. It's just the fat around it. So, there's more fat on lambs over here.
So my assumption is they take
So
all.
now the hatchet.
Do you ever have ground